Kyle Larson just called out NASCAR's biggest star, and what he said will shock you. Kyle Larson goes on a podcast and drops a brutal comparison about one of NASCAR's rising stars. A celebrity chef is now a co-owner of a Cup Series team, and the internet is losing its mind. And buried under all the noise, a major manufacturer move that could completely reshape the NASCAR Cup Series as we know it. We are covering all of it today, but stay with me because the Dodge story, that one has a twist at the end that nobody saw coming. Before we get into it, if you are new here and you love real NASCAR talk without the fluff, hit that subscribe button right now. We break down the stories that actually matter every single day. Now let's get into it. You never quite know what you are going to stumble onto when you open up NASCAR social media on any given day. It could be drivers beefing, it could be race highlights, it could be chaos on pit road. But this week, NASCAR Twitter handed us something nobody had on their bingo card. Celebrity chef and TV personality Guy Fieri is now a part owner of a NASCAR Cup Series race team. Sports Business Journal broke the story a few weeks back that Legacy Motor Club had brought in multiple celebrity investors. We already knew musician Darius Rucker was part of the ownership group. Now, Guy Fieri has officially pulled up a seat at the table. The man himself said it best. Flavortown has joined the club. And look, this opens up a genuinely fun question. Who is next? Legacy Motor Club has made it clear they are building something bigger than just a race team. They are going after the culture. They want names that pull in audiences beyond the traditional NASCAR fan base. So let your imagination run. The list of possibilities is wide open. Now, there is also this viral internet theory floating around that Guy Fieri does not actually eat the food on his show. Cameras catch him taking a bite, there is a quick jump cut, and you never see him swallow. Is it real? Is it nothing? Honestly, does not matter. It has been feeding the internet for weeks. We mention it only because it is funny, and because when you own a piece of a NASCAR team, people are going to dig up every piece of content they have ever created about you. And speaking of people becoming topics of conversation, we need to talk about what Kyle Larson said on a major sports podcast this week. Because trust me, Carson Hocevar is not going to love this. NASCAR has a new content partnership with the popular sports show Bussin' with the Boys, and they launched a new NASCAR-focused spin-off called Racing with the Boys. A few episodes in, and already one driver has become the recurring subject every single week, Carson Hocevar. The young, bold, and occasionally chaotic driver of the number 77 keeps coming up, whether he is a guest or not. This week, the guest was Kyle Larson, and naturally, someone brought up Hocevar. Larson did not dodge the question. He gave his honest assessment, and it was not exactly a ringing endorsement of Hocevar's personality off the track. Larson's quote, and this is worth sitting with. I think he is extremely good and fast. I like his aggressiveness even, but I would say it goes overboard a lot of the time. He is young, but he is kind of more immature than what his age is. I have his Twitch stream pop up on my Instagram feed every now and then, and I am like, dude, this guy is like an 8-year-old. That is where I lose a little bit of respect because I am like, man, this guy could be the future of our sport, and he is acting like he is 8 years old. Now, Larson was smiling when he said it. He was not going for the jugular. But let us be real. Comparing someone to an 8-year-old is not exactly a compliment, no matter how big your smile is. Here is where it gets interesting, though. The Hocevar criticism train has been rolling pretty hard lately, and some of it has gone further than it probably should. Yes, last year Hocevar made some remarks during a Twitch stream about Mexico City that were genuinely immature. He got fined. He had to apologize. That was the same week NASCAR was spending serious money trying to grow their audience in Mexico. The timing was bad. The comments were worse. Fair criticism there, absolutely. But Bubba Wallace on the same podcast called Hocevar a goober and made jokes about his appearance. And there was the moment where Richard Childress himself came over the radio during a race and made a crack about Hocevar's eyes being too close together. At some point, you have to pump the brakes. Criticizing how a driver races? Completely fine. Criticizing his eyes? That is just mean. Here is the reality that some people in and around the garage seem to be missing. Carson Hocevar is doing something right off the racetrack that almost nobody else in the sport is doing right now. He went to the Met Gala. He jumped into the TV broadcast booth. He hosted a 2-hour episode of one of NASCAR's biggest podcasts. He is building a brand in ways that veteran drivers with far more resources simply are not. You want the numbers? After his Talladega win, Lionel Racing announced that his victory diecast had more pre-orders than any race win diecast in 15 years. More than a Daytona 500 win. More than a championship celebration. 15 years. That tells you everything about where his fan base is and where it is going. So yes, criticize the racetrack decisions when they deserve it. Larson is not wrong that some of Hocevar's aggression crosses a line. But the personal stuff? The appearance jokes? Keep that in the garage where it belongs. Now, let us shift gears completely, because there is a manufacturer story brewing right now that could fundamentally change what NASCAR looks like in 2026 and beyond. And one major team just publicly made their position crystal clear. The Athletics reported this week that Dodge could be making a move to the NASCAR Cup Series as early as next season. That is an extraordinarily aggressive timeline. For context, Dodge has been running Ram trucks in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series for only half a season. Going from that to a full Cup Series program in one off-season is the kind of move that makes veteran team managers raise an eyebrow. But Dodge is pushing. And when you look at who is likely to be the flagship team, every sign points to Chevy defector Trackhouse. No, wait, to Legacy Motor Club. No, the team everyone is talking about is Colin. Let us call them the team that bailed on Chevrolet last year. They left Chevy when they were firmly at the bottom of the manufacturer's pecking order, below Hendrick, below RCR, below Trackhouse. When you are at the back of that line and someone offers you a chance to lead a manufacturer's Cup Series program from day one, you take it. The risk was real this year. With no factory support, A.J. Allmendinger has somehow kept that team inside the top 20 in points. That is not a small thing. That is a testament to what an experienced, versatile driver can do with limited resources. But they always knew this year was a building year. They are playing the long game, 2027, 2028, when the Dodge program is hopefully up to speed. Now, naturally, once Dodge rumors start flying, the internet does what the internet does. Fans start speculating about which Ford or Chevy teams might flip. Trackhouse comes up. But the name that generates the most buzz is RFK Racing, given that co-owner Brad Keselowski won Dodge their last Cup Series championship back in 2012. Add in this week's announcement of a Roush Performance and Ram collaboration, and the speculation went into overdrive. Then Keselowski stepped in and ended it himself. He posted publicly this week that RFK Racing has a multi-year agreement with Ford, along with a commitment from Ford's leadership to turn RFK into a championship contending program. He was direct. Any speculation otherwise is great internet content, but has zero basis in reality. That is about as clear as it gets. Is there a world where things change down the road? Sure. Multi-year deals have end dates. But for the foreseeable future, RFK is staying put. People keep drawing comparisons to when Toyota entered the Cup Series back in 2007. But here's what those comparisons tend to leave out. Toyota's first year was rough. Michael Waltrip Racing managed 2 top 10s the entire season. Red Bull was failing to qualify for races. It was not until their second year, when Joe Gibbs Racing committed to the Toyota program, that things started clicking. Kyle Busch alone won 8 races in that first JGR Toyota year. The point is, manufacturer programs need time to prove themselves before other teams are willing to take the risk. No established team wants to flip manufacturers and spend 2 years fighting through a learning curve while their championship window closes. A team like Trackhouse, which is still competitive on road courses and runs chase-caliber seasons, has far more to lose than to gain by jumping ship right now. If Dodge gets into the Cup Series next season, expect it to be a one-team operation to start. Get the foundation right. Get the engine program figured out. Show the rest of the garage something real. Because until that happens, the established mid-tier teams, the ones who actually win races, have every reason to stay exactly where they are. We talked a lot today about who is staying put, who is building something, and who is making noise. But here is the thing about NASCAR manufacturer wars. They never play out the way anyone predicts. Toyota was supposed to struggle for years. Instead, Joe Gibbs Racing changed everything in 12 months. Dodge has been down this road before, and they know exactly how it can go wrong. So the real question is not whether Dodge can get into the Cup Series. The real question is whether they can get in and immediately compete, or whether they are about to hand the rest of the field a 2-year head start. And there is one team decision that nobody is talking about right now that could completely change that answer. We will get into that in an upcoming video. Make sure you are subscribed so you do not miss it, because when that story drops, it is going to reframe this entire Dodge conversation.